and welcome to PTV World Special. I'm Farrukh Pitafi. Today we are going to talk about Pakistan's economy. You must have seen the way Pakistani media keeps on speculating about economy. And every day we keep on hearing something in further scandalous tones. Of course, there are concerns which are important, like our forex reserves keep on shrinking. We had to actually resume the IMF program, but so far the team hasn't come. But finally, we have heard from the government ministers that Pakistan is going to comply with all these requirements of IMF, and then of course the economy is going to improve. Today we are going to actually talk about strategy, what exactly can be expected in coming days. There is one concern regarding economy's fundamentals, and then the impact on the people as well, particularly that even at this moment, while we keep on hearing different inflation numbers from the government authorities, the pundits in the market keep on saying that we are touching somewhere around, we have crossed 30% and we are touching 35%. What exactly happens when Pakistan tries to actually comply with the IMF? Is there not a concern that it will further increase inflation in the country at a time when economy is already reeling under the burden of flood effects and the circumstances that are there, the possibility of a global recession as well? Today we are going to talk about all these matters, and we are joined by an eminent panel who is going to help us understand what exactly to expect in coming days. In order to do that, in this studio I'm joined by Sultan Ali Haider Sahab, who is a strategy consultant, has spent 16 years in corporate sector consulting with various banks, and today he's here to help us understand these matters. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Sultan Sahab, your take. I noticed that you have come with a lot of notes, a lot of numbers. So do you plan to intimidate me with them?
No, I have, thank you first of all for inviting me. I have no intention of doing that.
Yeah.
I just wanted so that I have the number in case some economists bring in some numbers, so yeah, I can refer to my numbers. Anyway, my take, I'm not going to get into the pure economic analyst side of it, but I'll give my perspective as a strategy guy. And in my opinion, the bottom line is that it's more of a sentiment issue which is driving the whole problem. And sentiment issue is related to the foreign exchange price.
Okay. Because
root of the problem is that if rupee depreciates, with every rupee decline against dollar, our debt repayment increases, our total debt increases, which increases the fiscal deficit, which increases the current account deficit. And that whole episode happens due to sentiments. Now, if you look at the fundamentals, as the gentleman was talking about, our fundamentals are not extremely bad if you look at in terms of the ratios, our debt to GDP ratio or other ratios. Right. But the way sentiments have been going on, the reserves have...
Hang on. Yeah. You don't think that economy is slowing down? You don't think that factories are shutting up? You don't think that inflation is really hitting the common man hard?
No. On the contrary, what I feel is that certain symptoms appeared, and the way the whole market started to react, that caused a crisis which has led to this.
Okay. Because our market is speculator's market, is it true?
Yes, that is true. Market is a speculator's market, and since the sentiment moved that way, now the dollar started...
You're arguing for a feel-good factor, right?
Of course, of course.
So how are you going to convey this market sentiment to IMF?
You see, with IMF, the problems are not in terms of just the sentiment. With IMF, there are other problems. So IMF is a good problem to have in a sense also, because IMF talks about the discipline that we should be following, right? So IMF says you share a plan with IMF. We call them conditionalities.
Yeah.
But you say I will do A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
Now IMF expects that it has your word and you will follow through on that. Now IMF doesn't give you a lot of money. But once IMF gives you a stamp of approval, you show that certificate to everybody else. And they say, okay, so you have a plan. It's a credible plan.
No, that is a given, right?
You're right.
I understand.
Just like the Saudis have said so recently.
that bit was kind of understood.
Yeah,
but somehow IMF team hasn't arrived for the ninth review.
Yeah.
Why is it not here?
So the issue there is that IMF believes, and it has been saying for a long time, not just in Pakistan, but it follows their philosophy that it should be a free float to the exchange rate. Now the issue which has been following is, I mean, it's a bit of a controversial issue, that we only have the finance minister, current finance minister in Pakistan, who is cheering for the rupee, right? And he's positive and he's bullish and he's saying that the rupee is undervalued and it should be valued better.
Yeah.
For political and other reasons, there are so many other people who are detractors. You don't find it in other economies.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, right.
But how does it impact IMF's judgment whether to go ahead with
No,
any?
okay. IMF's judgment is impacted. First of all, I do believe, based on things that I have read, that it's not just the free float thing. There are other conditionalities or agreements that we're not following through on, right?
Subsidies, for instance.
Subsidies, for instance. So, so basically, we do not have the money that we are spending. So we already have a gap.
Yeah.
And then we are planning to spend more and more on that. But the gap again is getting created by this crisis, right? So
that might be there, but still, you
Yeah.
agree in principle that we have to go back to IMF.
No,
right?
no, of course we have to go back.
And to do that, we'll
Yeah.
have to actually meet the conditionalities.
Yeah.